What's up, YouTube? Finally back with another video. Decided I was gonna do the things I love about this car. And I started making a list and it started growing, so I just ended it at 10. And these are gonna be in no particular order, just the top 10 things I love about this car. All right, so the first thing I wanna talk about is the SRT styling of this car. And the way the bumpers and the hood and everything flows together. I mean, Dodge really did a great job along with the SRT team in making these things look awesome, all the way down to the spoiler being a matte finish, the racetrack tail lights, the vents in the rear bumper. Everything just looks amazing on this car. I love the way it looks. The styling is something that's very mean and menacing, and there's no mistaking these cars when you see them. I've heard people, say and make comments on some other videos, oh, we see these things all the time now, Dodge, there's a flooding of these cars so that you see them everywhere. Well, that might be true in their area, but here, around Birmingham, Alabama, and in Selma, where I work at, I really don't see them that often. All right, the next thing I'll talk about, you can't really see them right now in the daytime, but it will be the daytime running lights on this car. They just look mean and menacing. When you see them in the rear of a car that you're parked behind, or in the window of some shopping center that you've pulled up to, I mean, it just looks mean. When you see another Charger coming and it just has the daytime running lights out and it's about dusky dark and they ain't got their headlights on yet, I mean, it just looks mean back behind you. I'm gonna put a picture or a little clip in of some nighttime running, the way these daytime running lights look at night, just in case somebody's watching this that for whatever reason hasn't seen them. This right here is the next thing, and it's gonna be this awesome 6.4 liter MA. I really believe Dodge did a great job with these engines. You don't really see a whole lot of problems out of them. Every now and then you'll see something pop up, but I mean, when you produce thousands of engines, then you're bound to have, a few problems. But I've owned two of these cars, a 16 and this is the 18, and it's always run fantastic. Never had any issues. It's got power wherever you want it at, and it's just a altogether great engine. The way it runs, the way it sounds, the power that it has. Love this thing. I mean, how can you beat 485 horsepower out of a four-door sedan? I mean, it's awesome. Oh yeah. All right, the next one is going to be the stock exhaust. I mean, it is just fantastic to be a factory exhaust. Everything from it being an active exhaust all the way down to the way these tips look and are designed into the bumper. I mean, I think this factory exhaust couldn't be better. For a factory exhaust, the way this sounds is better than any other factory exhaust that I've heard, maybe besides a Corvette or something. But it's just awesome, especially for the price point, and it comes on every one, even the base models has got this. And I know now, even the regular RTs and stuff's got it, but that's just how good it sounds and how popular this exhaust is. That's why they put it on everything. Everybody wants it. It's just an awesome sounding exhaust. I'll open this trunk for my next one, and it's gonna be these shopping bag hooks. I mean, you wouldn't think that this would be a big deal, but the simple fact that this car comes with these shopping bag hooks, I use these hooks on both sides here more than you would ever think I would use them. I hang probably 10 bags of groceries off of each side, and then you don't have to worry about them flopping around. And then all these cars come with this net too, and I put milk, stuff like that I don't want flopping around in this net. I mean, this is just a very, very practical trunk on this car. It's got plenty of lighting. I've changed it over to diode dynamic LEDs in both sides of the trunk here, and it lights it up like daytime at night. It's carpeted on the top and the bottom, and the trunk area is awesome. And these bag hooks are one of my more favorite things about this car. And don't flame me about it, but shit, if you drive your car every day and you have one of these, then you'll understand that how awesome and useful those are. I'm filming the wheel. I want to give you some good scenery while I'm talking here about this next one. And that's going to be the miles per gallon that you can achieve in this vehicle. That's one of the things I love about this car. I mean, it's crazy with 485 horsepower out of a 6.4 liter that I can achieve anywhere from 26 to 28 miles per gallon depending on the speed I'm traveling in this thing, highway mileage. That is absurd. And it has part to do with the transmission too, and then breaking down in the 4-cylinder mode, but just the simple fact that you can have a 6.4 liter V8 and it get 26, 27 even miles to the gallon. I've seen 28 in this car on a 70-mile trip to work is just I was recently looking at, you know, fuel consumption on a few other different sporty vehicles, and a guy I work with, and I was looking at the Ford Fusion Sports and stuff like that, and a Ford Fusion Sport gets like 25 miles to the gallon on the highway, and it's a V6. It's a 2.7 liter twin turbo V6, and it gets 25 miles to the gallon rated on the highway. And from what I've seen on YouTube videos, that's about what they actually get. And this car here has a 6.4 liter V8. And even when it breaks it down to 4 cylinders, you got a 3.2 4-cylinder, which is a big ass 4-cylinder, still bigger than a 2.7 V6 that's in that Fusion. And it can get the same, if not more. I usually average more gas mileage than that car. And this thing has 485 horsepower. I mean, get the hell out of here. The interior design. I mean, I really love, I know a lot of people don't like this big dash, but I mean, it's kind of soft, it's soft touch material. And as long as you take care of it and put some sort of product on it, I wouldn't recommend Armor All or nothing. I don't like things that are too slick and shiny. Then you get sun reflecting off of it and it gets in your face. I mean, you got enough of that from the hood bump up there. But, as long as you take care of this car, the interior is going to be good, and it looks awesome. The way that the lines run, the way that the dash is designed, personally, I really like the way it looks. I like the way the buttons are laid out. I love that in the 18s here, they put this mute button up here for us. The paddle shifters, you know, I went to the SRT paddle shifters, but just the fact that it's got good, real magnesium paddle shifters in all these cars, even when they come factory, and the RTs has got them too, is great. And the way that the paddle shifter and this and the trim around the gauges and all that stuff just kind of plays off of each other, I mean, it looks great. They really did a good job with this car. Even all the way looking into the way that the pillars are and the way that all this stuff blends and matches. And if any of y'all seen the Mustang videos that I had done when I had my 17 and my 16 Mustang, this was always a problem right here on those cars. But on this car, no problem. The way the door panels and inserts, I've got the leather interior, the way that they're designed there, I mean, it fits my arm well. It looks great. It's functional. I love this gear shifter. I mean, I just can't say enough about the interior of this car. Interior design, I mean, I really love it. The way the seats look. I mean, everything about it. Where the cup holders are. How big the glove box is. I mean, I can't say enough about the interior of the car. The next thing we'll talk about is part of the interior styling, but it's more specific to itself, and that's this gauge cluster. The way that Dodge laid out, I've always been a fan of the 2 round gauges. You know, in the Mustangs, when I went to the new digital dash, if I got one that had that, then I would make sure I kept the 2 gauges like I'm used to seeing and like to see. But the way that they designed these with the red that goes around, the red lines on the needles, I love that the center of it is all digital. And this thing, you can customize this center portion of this dash in so many ways, and that goes with lots of things on this car. Dodge did a wonderful job, FCA and Dodge, of designing this vehicle to where the user could customize so many things. So even right here, and yes, I mean, I do have the taser, so as you can see, my font's a little bit different in the center, and that's why, because I got SRT functions enabled. But all this is on the regular. You don't even have to have the taser to have these things. But like gear display, okay, well, see, it lights up red there, tell you where it's going to change. If you go into it, you can go full or you can go single, and change that. You can change what's in the center, whether your odometer is going to be shown down here at the bottom. Your current gear next to where it says park, neutral, drive, whatever, it'll tell you your current gear. I got that stuff on. The upper right up here, you can change whatever you want up there. I've got outside temp, but you got time, range, average fuel mileage, current fuel mileage, trip A, B, nothing up there. The compass. You've got so many things. And then if you bounce out here to the upper left, it's the same. On the center, it's the same. I mean, you've got so much customizable, so much to customize in this thing that it's crazy. You can even put like your speedometer right here, center dash. I keep mine at the upper, in the top, in the center. But like all this stuff, I mean, all these parameters. I know some other cars have some of this stuff, but this car, you can just customize it any way you want to. And I really love that about this car. That's one thing that just keeps me coming back to this bad boy, is the customization that you can do to not only this, but the Uconnect, which I'll talk about here in just a few minutes. So that led me on here to the next thing, which will be this Uconnect system. And I know I have the Taser. You have some of this stuff with the normal system, performance pages, you get performance pages, and you can look at all your normal stuff, and that comes straight from the factory and all these things. And you got all these things that you can do here. You got your G-force meter, your engine horsepower, it's got oil pressure in here and stuff, how many foot-pounds of torque. You got on the 18, I think 17 and up, you got this dyno feature that's pretty awesome. You got all these different gauges, timers, all the stuff that you can do right here in Uconnect. And all these cars have this stuff. And the functionality of this Uconnect system, the way this stuff's laid out, the way the buttons look, you can change your backgrounds all up. You can change, and it changes some of these fonts and stuff, and the way it lights up different things. You've got all these different apps that you can go to. The 17 and ups have the CarPlay and Android Auto. I mean, it has so much stuff straight from the factory that is just awesome. Now, I do have the navigation, so one thing that's cool is this travel link. If you've got the factory navigation, you got weather maps and stuff like that you can go to, and it'll show you the current weather situation in your area. You can get your forecast. You got sports info, so you can go to different sports stuff. You can set favorites here of sports and fuel stations. See, roll tide, baby. So you've got all these things. You can find gas station, list fuel prices, things that are near you. I mean, it's awesome. So some people don't like the Uconnect system, but I love the Uconnect system. I love the way it functions. It's never locked up. It's never gave me a problem. I had Ford Sync 3 in 2 different vehicles, and I'd had problems with screens blacking out, and it happened several different times. Or you go into reverse and you can't get the screen back out of reverse, or just stuck in a boot loop. You gotta unplug the battery or disconnect the battery and let it sit for a few minutes. And I know that a couple folks have had the camera issues with this Uconnect, but other than that, I don't hear very much, and I've never had a problem personally with it. And I just love the way that it functions and all the functionality that you have. So the last thing that I'm going to talk about is going to be this 8-speed transmission. I absolutely love this transmission. If they would put this transmission in more vehicles, I think they would sell more of whatever that vehicle is, because this thing is like multiple transmissions in one. It is a economy transmission when I want it to be an economy transmission. It shifts really smooth and not jerky at all. It elongates the shift, and you can't even hardly tell that it shifts. It almost feels like a damn CVT when you're really slowly getting on it. But then when you get about half throttle, it starts picking up the pace and punching you. And then you've got your sport mode that you can put it in that really snaps the shifts. I mean, you get a instant shift with this thing. And they also have, if you got the Taser, you can unlock track mode and eco mode. And track mode makes it shift a little bit harder, and eco mode, it'll start you off in second gear and try to get you the best of fuel economy as possible. So this transmission, even without the Taser, this transmission is awesome. Like I said, it's economy transmission, smooth shifting when you want it to, and then when you get down on it, it's a hard shifting, you know, fast shifting monster. It allows this car to get that kind of fuel mileage that I was talking about with the 8 speeds. You get the 27, sometimes even 28 miles per gallon on a 70-mile trip, averaging about 65, 70 miles an hour. So that is amazing out of a car with a 6.4 liter V8, 485 horsepower. And this transmission is a big reason of why it can do that. And I'm just in love with it. As a total, this car has been totally awesome. Everything about this car almost I love. That's why I had a 16 and I sold it, went back to a Mustang, and now I've got this 17, and hopefully one day, or this 18, and hopefully one day I'm going to get myself a Hellcat. And that's the only thing that I wish this car had more of, is some power. More power. But anyway, those are the 10 things, and I kind of limited the list to 10 because I mean, I could talk about this damn thing all day long. I could go from brakes to rims to where the brake pedal feels, how the gas pedal responds, all kind of stuff I could talk about. But those are the 10 to keep this video as short as possible. I know it's already got long. Project 392, subscribe please. Check out some of my other videos if you got some time. And you can also find me on Instagram, Project 392. Go ahead and hit me up there. Follow me. I'm not a fanboy posting a billion pictures or whatever, but I do pretty good. Check out in the description below my sponsors, CarPro USA and Poor Boys World Detailing Products. Thanks for watching the video. Remember to smash that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. Hit that little bell icon if you want to make sure you get notified when I put out videos. Thanks, guys.